Alright. Okay, so we are back in action here. So to take a quick break and make sure that I I could sync this. So the good thing is we got this the project sync backed up, which is awesome. So we should be able to just collaborate across the board and make tweaks and updates we need to, but not worry about it losing valuable data. So where I left off here was we were making this trigger react to the hammer itself, and the way we do that is we just add in FSM reaction to when you click on the item here, and then we can test it out. So what I wanted to do, I remember, I wanted to find, go in my master assets here, and then we can go into, we have a couple particle scenes. We have this V for visual, I think is what it was for. Um, I don't know why I called it that. And unfortunately with particles, you can't really see them unless they're, some of them you can see, but majority of them you're only going to see mesh objects. So what I like to actually do is I actually play the game, and I will drop stuff in, figure out what I like, and then see it, because if you don't play the game, you have to select the level or the object. It's a little bit confusing, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So we'll give it a second to load everything. Glad I got this collab back. It wasn't working for a while. And also, I kind of want to say no audio. Looks like it doesn't give me a chance to not play audio here. Alright. But I know where I can turn off. Give it a second to catch up. Alright, so we got the audio turned off there. Okay, so where did I leave that hammer over here? Okay. Alright, so there's our hammer. And again, we know it's going to react when we do this, so come back to that in a second. What I want to do is I want to just test out some stuff that we can use here for the building effect. See if we can pull some particles out. So in this particle elements folder, I have, I've made a bunch of prefabs of stuff I've collected from various resources and named them what I thought they would represent, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it's just random. But you can mix and match stuff, which is good. And so let's see if I can find something that works here. Let's just see what Dreamscape is. And so that's why you have to play it, because you can't see it here because it's not selected, but you can see it in front of you here. So we can get a feel for what that is. So that's just a, obviously, sleeping particle thing. Let's see what else we can find out. So this, some kind of whirlwind. The frame rate's really bad just because of all the sharing right now. I don't know what these light blasts will do. Oh. Some serious particles, huh? So these are a little bit too big. That's why I don't like them. It's just something a little bit more casual. So, Blade Whirlwind. Did I already do this one? I mean, maybe if we took away that circle effect there. You can see the different stuff that it's doing here. So maybe we ditch that. How does that look? I mean, it's a start. I don't really know if it has a building effect, though. building effect, you'd see a bunch of dust. You know what would be good? Actually, I know I have a good one here, I think. So if I use, where is it? It's Earth. Let's see what this one is. Nope, not that one. Sinkhole. This one would be good. This is the one I think we're going to use. Has a really cool building effect. So what we can do is I can maybe bring this in a little bit so it's not so spread out. Alright, so that's one because it's way too big, obviously. And you can't see, but it's massive. Okay, so mud. Really, we just care about these spurts, it looks like here. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just pause this. I'll bring in the sinkhole, and we'll separate the spurt part and use that in the animation. It's something basic. Give some reaction to the bridge if you're on it and you need to find it. Okay, we'll unpack, bring that out, ditch this, and then we can figure out how that's going to work here. Bring it over. It's pretty big, so I want to try to bring it to a point where it fits within the size of the bridge here. Okay. And I just toggled on the trigger here. We can turn that off by doing that. And you can still see that stuff without affecting that. Okay, so I'm gonna do a hashtag build bridge, and this just lets me know it's part of the event. I usually do all caps hashtags for event stuff, so that's somewhat important. So the good thing is we can actually rotate this the way we want it and try to get it aligned. I don't know why it's not. It's because it's global, huh? Okay, so now we have it even there. I can bring it down. And probably another thing we'd want to do is like slowly animate wood coming on, but I don't know how much detail we really need to do. We just want to show that something's happening when you click that. So we definitely want to bring this in, and sometimes you can get away with just scaling it and it'll move everything like that. Which it looks like it's actually going to work for us. Alright, so we go here. Alright, so that definitely scaled it in, but now it's going too fast. So maybe scale out just a little bit. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's still not good enough for me. I just want some kind of wood appearing there. I mean, I guess what I can do is just double it up, but that's a lot of particle effects just for a simple bridge effect here. Like what I would probably do is just drag this in here and delete this here and just use this one thing to control everything here. I don't know if both of them are playing though. Let's see what happens when we push play. The good thing is the particles actually work really well on a mobile phone versus my laptop. They have issues, but on my new iPhone, this stuff runs pretty good, which is amazing that the phone actually. It's the way it handles, I guess, the rendering. Apple did a lot of stuff to make it work. It's make it more gamified device, which is cool. Exactly what I need. Okay, so let's go check this out, because it doesn't even look like it's showing both sides, but it could just be because I deleted something there that was doing that. So it would be cool if I could show this and then have it like fade on versus just toggle on, like one board at a time. And I could do that if I separated the mesh, but I think it's just one solid piece. Let's see. Yeah, if you look, it's just one solid piece here, so it wouldn't be, you wouldn't be able to really do that. And I don't think it's worth separating. So I guess we'll just leave it as is. The question is, when I duplicated that extra stuff, I'm not even sure if it actually did anything, if it even working. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't even look like it's showing up. And then over there. Oh, well, that's probably why, because I deleted that part. So, delete. So I guess you would want to build bridge. Okay, and then we can just, I guess it does need the top one too. And then we'll have to make another parent for that and make that a 2. I guess what we can do is toggle on like each side of this, so like we'll do the front one first, then toggle that one on. That way it at least looks like it's building across, and then when you, because that's what it looks like when they're both on. That's what I was trying to get before. That's not terrible. It definitely looks like you're building something. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So that's an example of how we can put something kind of reaction to the object there. And of course it could be set, like moved around and fit better than what it looks like here. But it's not bad. It actually looks like it's building something for us when you click on it. So the only thing I want to do here is I want to make sure I go in here, parent those, rename this to hashtag build bridge. And one thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it so that anything that's a important object, so I don't lose it, I have to make sure I drag it up out of this right here. So let's say the trigger object again that we needed, bridge trigger, do that, and that. Alright, so just for now, and then we can move it, just so we can do a setup here. So we'll turn this off and this on, and we're going to put our hammer. The problem is I don't want somebody to click on it way over here. I want to actually see the bridge doing something. So I want to make the hammer like in view of where the bridge is, which is why maybe the other thing we need to do is we don't need to unpack prefab. So you select prefab asset. Here, I don't want necessarily level detail remove. Okay, and then now that we did that, I'm actually just going to delete this real quick. And I'm going to bring this in right here and figure out where it is. And we'll just delete these other ones that we don't need. That's right, I'm going to go here, unpack. Just trying to save a little bit of space. I don't know how much extra it takes on, but with a mobile game, we don't need the higher mesh stuff. But for a regular game, you'd want that. Okay, so I'm going to have to redo the little change of this. I know it was like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and this one's going to be 0.5. 0.5. Okay, and we can actually probably keep the gravity on for this one if we wanted to. I'm just gonna kind of fall on this and see what happens when we press play. Hopefully it'll fall right on the table. You can also place it on there so it falls nicely. Oh, well. So that's why sometimes the rigid body isn't even helpful. Unless you're setting up that kind of game. So we will just take care of that. Now remove this. F, rotate. F, and come down. Okay, so we know we have the hammer here, which is a level item. And I haven't really done anything with the inventory. Might have a hammer already, so I should probably wipe all that before we build it out. We should also run a script that kills everything every time you start up the level. Otherwise, you're going to be able to save them from the last time and restart and not have to find it. So that's that. And these are kind of in a funny place, aren't they? Just kind of sitting there. Don't worry about those later. So let's test this out. And let's just move Sully up a little bit for us. Okay. And I'm also just moving my camera with it. The camera does a weird spin on this one, I think, just the way it's set up. As long as Sully is facing that way, I think we're good. Up. Okay, let's try it. You do like you zoom in and you see that. I like that a lot. Alright, so we also have to set up a map this level, which is going to be cool. Oops. That's why we got to set the map, otherwise that's going to happen. So I can fix that. This is a cool thing about being in the editor or not just being in the game. If there's a fix and you don't want to replay it, you can just go to main and then toggle on what you accidentally toggled off there. And then now it's working. Alright, so let's go test this out. And I'm actually going to make it iPad view just to change it up so I can see a little bit more here. Makes it a little bit bigger for us. Alright. And you can see the joystick gets confused when you change it up, and then it snaps into place, which is cool. Alright, so we're going to go here, and it's going to say, we're going to see our trigger happen, block us. Alright, and so we don't really see much, we just know that we're on the edge. And we know that our trigger is stopping us from going anywhere. And again, you have to open these up to see it. So you can see that I'm right at the edge of the blocking one, which is this one, and then I'm inside of the trigger object, which is why this is on. And if you watch this, if we just lock this and I go backwards the other way, and turn around, when I exit this, it's hopefully going to turn off. Right? There you go. So then, and then we can go back in and out, and obviously if I fall off the bridge, I will, die and exit the game. And maybe we can add some more ads in. But, so we have to go find that hammer now. So I don't think I have it in here anymore. Okay, so what we need to do when we click the hammer, well, I haven't set it up, but we're going to set it up right after this, after we test this out. I'm just going to see if it all functions properly. I want to make more items available up here. Okay, so... Oh, what's this? It's a hammer. Cool. Alright, good. So we got that stuff working great. Okay, so now I want to make it so that you have to be within a certain area to use it, which I haven't. Right now you can just use it anywhere and it will react. There's no limit, and that's just because it was going to be a little extra work to make it within an area. So eventually we'll have to add those to all the events to where you have to be somewhere where you can actually see it happen. Otherwise, there's not really a point of having it animate and do all this stuff. So now, if we click this, it should, if this was set up, it would react to it. But we'll just, again, test, and you have to make sure you unlock this, and then switch back, and then now we'll come to the new one, and we'll just click the hammer, and it will fire off. There we go. Okay, so we'll pause there, and we'll stop there, and now we'll set up the reaction to the hammer. And so what I want to do is I don't really think it matters if you put both these on at different times. Because at the end of the day, you won't be able to see from the other end. So what we do want to do is here we got to fix all this stuff. So this is where you toggle on the fire. So instead we're going to toggle on the build bridge. Okay, and I'm even going to change this to build bridge. And this is the kind of stuff, once you do this enough, you kind of remember the series of events you've set up before. Alright, so this is where I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So now we know we're turning off the trigger, we're turning off the effect, and then we're not doing this, but I'm just going to keep that because we might use that. That's just creating this seed for the next level. And then we're going to destroy object. We're going to activate, this is where we want to activate the bridge. Okay, so I'll go backwards here. I know this right here is the bridge we want. So I'll put this in first, just so I don't forget. And so that'll activate that. All right, and then we can now come up here. And the reason I don't pull that out, even though it's like, I want to keep it part of the model. And I just have to remember, I got to figure out a way where people will know where this is. Because it's kind of hidden in here. You're not going to know unless you go in here. But if you move this around, this might get broken and you won't know where this is linked, like these red ones. So I need to figure out a way to where it's very obvious what's being manipulated. So turn that off. We'll turn this back off. And we can even just destroy the trigger. I think that's what that was. We also want to... I need to check the first level because I don't know where we have to turn on and off. Yeah, so I think that's wrong. I think what I want to do is... We want to turn on the build bridge, but we also want to turn on the text. And I don't know where I did that in the last one. I might have to go back and see that. Because here we turn off the text, I think. Alright. So I'm going to save this, and we're just going to go reference the other scene to see how I have this set up, because I want to replicate that. And I'm actually going to take notes so I don't have to do this every time. Okay, so easy fix. File, build settings, and right. So it looks like here, main canvas, special. Okay, so we go in here, we turn that on, so that was right. And then what do I deactivate? I deactivate that, I deactivate that, I create that. At some point, I actually add the text. Okay, so that is the text one there. And that's on the remove wall. I add text. Remove wall equals add text. Alright, and then right after we disable it. So then turn off equals turn off text. Okay, and then so let's turn that off, turn it off. Yeah, so it looks like I don't turn off the trigger, I just destroy it. That's what I was saying. So in the remove wall, you also destroy trigger. That's what I did wrong. I didn't bother turning it off. So we can load that back up, and probably should find a better way of documenting the process, but let's see. Okay, so in here we go main. Oh, that's because it's the wrong one. I'm gonna go that one. And Sky Island. Okay. I have to re-import all these too. Okay, so here, let me go special, and what we did wrong was I didn't need to do that. Remove wall, we're adding text. Alright, so this is where we gotta add something. That's what we did wrong here. Destroys. Okay, that moves. So maybe this is extra. I don't know. I'm confused right now. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to focus on the text we have to add here. Okay, so in our game canvas, we have this fixed bridge, right? And then we have the fixed text that we added. So then now I can go back into this, and we will say, okay, good. Let's activate that. And then we also need to deactivate it after however much time we give it. We give it 3 seconds to do that. Okay, so that should, let me just think about it. So it's going to turn on the build process, and then it's going to turn this off. Oh, well, what it needs to turn on is, it has to turn on the actual walkable part. Right, so where's the broken bridge? Where did I put that? Did I remove that? Alright. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess because it's a different series. So I'll just bring it down to the activate so I don't confuse myself. Activate this, delete that, and bridge broken we want to turn on. Okay, and so it's no longer broken, and now it's on, and then this is on, and then we wait 3 seconds, and then it turns that off. And the thing that it destroys, which will say add bridge here. Okay. Or I don't know why it says build bridge and add bridge. Maybe bridge added. Okay, so that turns on 3 seconds, and then after you wait, then, and this is also something we can just save for later, then you turn that off, you destroy the trigger, and you add that. So we can actually bring this up, and we can actually bring this up too. It doesn't really matter at that point. And camera fade in could be higher. Okay. So I think that will fix that. And so I'll just save this out real quick, and we'll test it. And if that's the case, we can set up another trigger up top, because we're going to set one up and the boss level here. Okay, so I'll bring this back open, zoom out a little bit so we can see what's going on. Clean up the hierarchy so we don't accidentally screw anything up, minimize everything. It's just a good habit, just so you don't mess something up. Trust me, it happens. Okay, and make sure you click away and save. Alright. Let's see what happens here. Oh, you know what I also want to do just before I have to do it every time is I'm just going to turn these off for now so I know there's no audio. Just so I can listen to my music while I work. Alright, oh man. Okay, so the thing is that you may pick this up before you get down there, which will be pretty, straightforward. But you'll never actually see the error message, or the one I'm showing you right here, if you don't. So let's just go ahead, and I could have probably picked it up just to have it, so I don't have to run back and get it, but let's just pretend we're... Okay, so broken path. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Seems to be working. Our Sully, I do need to crank up his speed though, I know that. Because I know that in the old character, he couldn't get up the bridge like this. He was too slow. So, I remember that. I gotta make sure I do that. He has issues getting up this on a mobile phone. This is from the rigid body mass, just like the angle affects the how steep it is. Alright, so I got the hammer, grab the hammer, grab all that stuff. Got some new things. Cool. So, I'm gonna come back down here and try not to fall off the bridge here. And right about here, let's just see if it works. My pack. Oh, that's right, I gotta fix the marketplace too. Alright, so we have 10 gold. That's working good. And click that. Boom. Starts building the bridge. We did it. Okay, so now you can walk across the bridge. So cool. That was pretty much how you set up an event. So I will record doing another one just so you can get used to it, because this is a lot of the stuff we're going to do throughout this demo and all the levels. We're going to do little trigger event systems that we set up that use a few different things. So this is where he has issue getting up. So right here, I will, before I forget, I had not changed this for Palm Island because I didn't need it, but the steepness of this bridge, he gets stuck, and so you have to crank up the speed multiplier, so you just have a little bit more force. I found that was a lot easier than messing with the rigid body. So in the controller, where is it? Right here. I crank this up. But I forget what I cranked it up to. Let's do 1.5. It's gonna be really fast though. I forget what I cranked it up to be honest. The reason why I don't like it too fast is that it's hard to control him. I mean, he's literally sprinting around. Especially when it comes into the level and it just starts sprinting out of nowhere. It's funny. Alright, so. Okay. Something not right? That's not right. Alright. Yeah, see how fast he runs now? I guess that's good for this level because it's so big. It's just if you fall off, you're kind of screwed. I am. Screw you. Okay, so that works. So we'll leave that that speed for now. I don't know what I had it before, but it's pretty much twice as fast as the first level. Okay, then we got our Sully in place. Works. Sky Island. Boom. I also have to make sure I update this stuff here because it doesn't look like it's updated. Alright, and make a mini map. So I'll do that. But let's work on another trigger real quick. I want to get these out of the way. Alright, so we got the build bridge. We got that. We got the hammer in place. And I probably should put these in their own event. They really should sit in the quest giver here. There should be one of these. Like I have here. This guy I'm going to actually re-import. So we'll remove him for now. And this one's going to be another quest giver that will react. This is fine now, it's just it is where it is. Alright, and then Sky Island, I thought I had another. Yeah, so there's a monster up here that's a quest giver. That's what we're going to work on next. So for this, the best way to do it, copy the trigger and we're going to set up a this one's pretty easy. It's gonna be a lot easier. So what I want to do first is I'll do the copy over out the event text now. So we'll copy the bridge because that's gonna be redundant or similar. So we'll make sure we drop in the right one. Put it below it. This is where you got to be careful about organizing. Okay, and then we'll say text, and we'll call this one plant monster. Okay, and for now we'll just delete this until we need a second one, and we'll just say be careful, right? Because we're gonna warn people about the plant monster that eats people in Lux Slam. Okay, and then here I'm gonna say hungry little hungry or something. Just trying to find fun ways to for titles for that. Oops, I do that all the time when I just okay, and then we'll say it looks like this monster has not eaten in a while. Be careful as you pass by. I'm gonna say pass. And then we can bring this out a little bit. So it's 2. Again, I like the spacing of just 2. And you can just somewhat center this would be perfect, but And so, again, we're going to toggle this off now, keep the plant monster on. And we got the bridge trigger, we can just literally copy that bridge trigger. And we can manipulate it. So then we'll say this is the plant monster trigger, right? And the only thing is this is turned off, and it's a little bit different than the first. Usually we have a parent. This one I just have a separate one, but we'll just see what happens when I go here. And I'll zoom up to this guy, and okay. So you can see I actually have this. What does this do? It's just an exclamation. So this thing faces our camera. It's got a look at camera script on it, so we can just put it over its head, bring it down a little bit so you see it, and then when you hit the trigger, we'll have it populate, and then it'll turn this off. And actually, I forgot that I want to use the Playmaker script from the other one that I just deleted, so I'll keep this. First things first, I'll just make sure that this is close to this, so I remember it's there. And let's go here. I don't like these being, I lose them when they're in there, that's why I don't like them. I forget where they are. Okay, so I just zeroed that out, and it puts it in a place close to enough. And then I can just bring it back out. And to be honest, I'll probably, just for now, since we're working on this, bring this out too. The only problem is that now this is not going to be able to toggle off, which we want it to. Okay, and for this, we're going to do the same. We can reuse this over and over and over, and we just have to, just replace that one text, and it works for whatever we replace it with, which is why it's super easy to set up and duplicate. A lot better than the questing system that originally came with, or I purchased. It's just easier, faster. Okay, so we want to make it to where you can't sneak around this, right? But we're also going to not have the blocker. We're just going to have a wall that just plays the counts down the info. But it needs to be long enough so where you can't get by without it seeing it. So something like that. Good. Okay, and monster trigger, and I'll just shorten this. Okay, and I want this guy to actually face the way we're looking, though. He's not really facing that way, is he? And he's also offset, which is not good. And let's offset. I don't know why he's so offset here, but I guess he's not anymore. I guess the exclamation's offset. So I actually want this to look at. I think it'd be cool if you let's see if that works. But I can make it so it's always looking at where the guy is, so like he spins and looks at him. That way it's always facing you. Alright, mesh, question mark. This we can actually just say screw that. And we'll just bring this over here. Yeah. I might actually set it up with a different type of look at though. So here we can go new FSM. I can do this real quick and test it. And we'll say look at, smooth look at, right? I'm using that a lot here. And then target object. We want it to look at our player. So Sully. and I just want to make sure that it doesn't. It only spins in the X and Y, not or an X and Z, not in the Y. I'm not sure how fast it's going to do that either. But I think what I actually want to do is put this on a parent this. I mean, where is it? It's not sitting in a bed, but we might not have to do that. Let's just see what happens. So we're also going to take our Sully and we're going to just, for the sake of testing this, we'll bring him up, move him around. I'm not sure why that collider's not aligned appropriately to fix that. But this is the Sully that seems to be working, so. Okay. Play. Looks like he's actually looking at him. Cool. Okay, so let's see if you watch over here, see if he follows the guy. That'd be cool if he does. He does. He is fucking hungry, isn't he? Oh man, that's awesome. Problem is he runs way too fast up here. He's gonna fall off. I can't control it. Oh no. Yeah, so it's still pulling up. Unfortunately, you can't see him behind this giant rock. So what I should do is I should put it farther up. But it is working like it should. Oh, and then he dies. Okay, cool. So that was an easy fix. So we'll save that, and then we'll bring in from Palm Island, which we're gonna have to do for all of them, our checkpoint guy that we have here. And I haven't set up the checkpoint system yet, like I want to. I want to like make it so that when you exit and you hit checkpoints, when you continue the demo, whatever, you can come back to the place you got to. And so to do that, you have to set up some global variables and save some player prefs that you save throughout the entire build. So I've held off on that for now because I want to wait until everything in place. Alright, so here, this quest giver, welcome to Oasis. Copy that. See if that's the right one. And this one I think has the area switch, which does the thing I wanted to do. Right, this is the thing I need. So I can just bring that in here. Back to Sky Island. Okay. Okay, and we'll come back to our little monster dude. He's hanging out. Actually, no. It's not the monster dude, it's the main island. That's where you want to put him. No. Okay, so I want to actually paste it here. Okay, then we'll go to main and oh, and actually it's interesting how it pastes it right where it needs to go, pretty much. So okay, so checkpoint. Okay, and we want this to do the same thing as in the other level. We just want it to. We're not going to show. Okay, so I want to go. Before I delete this, I'll copy this over. Alright, so I have that, and so I don't lose track of what I'm doing. You can see how this one's set up. They're all set up a little differently, which is why I need to make it more uniform for us here. This one has an area switch, and I want essentially this trigger is the area switch. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing here. So on this one, I actually will just delete this, or what you have to do is paste that, and then you can delete this, and then we'll set this up, and then we'll go back to the other one, the checkpoint area. Okay, so, oops. So we don't need to turn on anything for this plant monster guy. We just have to remove this. This is extra, that's why I brought this in. So, and then we can bring in this event, plant monster, be careful. And I originally had, there's no trigger exit here. And then on activate, this finish is also no longer important to us. All right, and we just have to make sure. What I care about is the timer here. There's a timer that gives it a certain amount of time. So, and I also care about being able to delete this thing here. So I can switch that around, so now it's selecting the right one. Right, selecting that one, and send event, start loop. Why is it doing that? Oh, it's just bringing it back to the beginning there. That's what it's doing. And the deactivate area isn't. Yeah, so this one we don't need either. Okay, so this is just a simple screen comes on, and then it waits 5 seconds. Alright. I'm not sure if this should be on the same one or not. And then you can destroy it. Okay, so then we just destroy it afterwards. Well, we're gonna destroy the trigger. So, yeah. And then now for the trigger, we don't necessarily need the this blocker. We're just warning somebody. Okay, so now we just have a single trigger here, and again, if you minimize it, you can't see it, but if you keep it up. So then now that we have the trigger there, it's doing a lot of this stuff, we can just, let's bring it forward more. So it's right in front of, as soon as you come in, you're gonna run into this thing. Make it, tuck it in right between there, as close as possible. Okay, so that's good. And now when you hit this trigger, it should do it. It's gonna be like, alright, turn this on, be careful. It's gonna wait 5 seconds, and then this is gonna destroy itself. That is gonna destroy itself, and then it's gonna come back to this, which doesn't necessarily have to be honest. We can just turn that off. This is a start loop. Trigger event. Okay. Let's try it. We're watching for to see if the exclamation point goes away, and we're making sure it propagates the right text. I think I added the new one in. Be careful. Okay. Ooh. Alright, so that's awesome. Okay, so it didn't turn off though. So did I guess I forgot to toggle it back off after 5 seconds. Which is what we need to do here. It's only so small compared to those grass things. I'm a little hungry. I'm a little hungry right now. Okay. Destroy. And we'll say so cursive just means it turns on stuff below it that wasn't on separately. I usually just turn that off so it just keeps the top state as is. And then here, we can turn that off. This is the fade out. Wait. And then this is a clean up. Okay, so that should solve that. And if I can reuse this a bunch of times, if this is just a message, like kind of an informational thing when you get points, we can just copy this over because it's relatively simple. It's just a trigger and then a event object, and then we are bringing in this exclamation point, but we're not really using the trigger set up for this guy. We're using a separate one for like a wall. I do like how it spins now though, it's good. That's the problem with it being so fast. I think I should turn this down a little bit. It's way too fast. But it turned off, and we can. It's good how he pivots though. So he's always looking at us. He's always looking in your face. So when you have the AR on the phone enabled, you'll be able to look up at him. Alright. Perfect. Cool. Oh, but it didn't turn off our canvas though. I gotta fix that. Okay, so fix toggle master UI portal exit, and then also the marketplace button. I'm just making notes for things that I have to redo since I re-imported a bunch of stuff. Okay. So we got that, and I forgot to see if that turns off, but it does, I think. Alright, so what else can we do here? We have to now, I think we're fine with this, so I'm going to go ahead and just drop this back into the portal area right here. Teleporter receiver, we'll put our plant monster our plant trigger into this area, and then we can toggle this back off. Okay, and then now Sully can go back to wherever he started, 0, 0, 0, and see where that puts him. Okay, so you wanna, I'm just gonna have him be over here now. And also I wanna make sure this goes down to 1, 2, it's too high. Okay. So I have to, the problem is that he needs to be up more like that. I think. I forget what's stopping him from, why that's not lined up, but I just don't want to mess with it now because it's working fine. If I move him up though, he'll be higher. Or maybe not. Not that. Whatever, I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm not going to worry about it. So the big thing we have to do here is I want to scale down. We've got to set up these things here are messed up. They're not working. So in our Oasis, in our, what was it? Inventory, instance NPCs, flower monster. There they are. So for some reason, and I don't even know if it's a script thing or what the hell it is. What the hell's going on here? We gonna have this. Okay, so plant seedling. That's probably because it's the wrong one. Plant seedling. Oh, okay. It's because I'm not. You know, so select this thing. Zoom into that. Okay, so the problem with these things is that when you there's two problems. A, when you use the script, when you select the prefab, it doesn't destroy this version. It's still there, and it's also a lot bigger. It's scaled wrong. So what I've been doing, I've been cheating. I've just been kind of using a Playmaker script on the dead one that destroys this one when it activates it, and also scaling it down, because if I bring this here, it's going to be really big. See, it's not even the same size as this one. They're different sizes. I don't understand it. Something funky with like something scaling with the script, and I'll have to probably redo them at some point, but the easy fix I've been doing is just scaling them down in here to whatever they need to be to work. So literally just play it, and I'll click on it and I'll scale it down and see what happens. It's not the best way, but it's an easy way. Okay. The big thing is going to make sure you can actually walk up this, so you can. Okay. So when you click on that, let's see if I can click on them. Come on, baby. Click, click, click. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, for some reason, he's not clickable now, and I just fell. I wonder if it'll drop me in the same place. I should probably just remake these things all together, but I gotta find the easiest way to update them where it's at least not a work, because they're kind of pain in the ass to set up and work. So here, why aren't you working, buddy? Oh, you know why? I bet I know why. It's because the tag on it is all fucked up. At some point, that portal thing, this tag, everything got changed to a portal, and it frickin' messed everything up. So what I have to do is I have to go into inventory, NPC, and I have to see what that one is. Oh, that's a portal A2. So let me just check. Alright. Alright. Let's see what it looks like on Palm Island, because I think what I should really do is change all the prefabs, but because I'm still doing a little trial and error stuff, I'm just seeing what we got here. So see how that says default? That's why it's not working here. Just want to check all these. Yeah, so the only thing that you want to, the mini map, that's the issue here. So the mini map layer has to be separate. So usually I'll go default, and then the only thing that's different is the mini map. Okay, so know that. Okay, so we can just open up the live Sky Island again, and we will do that for all of our okay, so here we'll just go default, change it all back. Yes, children, because I don't think we have any icons yet for these that I've added. Yeah, okay, so that should fix the issue with clicking on it. It's just a layer issue, I think. Would be the only thing I would assume. I think because the camera is culling out that layer, that portal layer. I think that's what the issue is. Because everything's working on Palm Island, so I'm just copying everything from Palm. Okay. Seems to be running better now too, which is good. I don't know why it is. Alright, come up here. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. What? You got a range or what? What, you got a range? Alright, what do we got here? Come on. Does it work? There we go. Okay, so that works. We get the thing pop up. You can see the scale of it's way off. So this is where I'm just eyeing it to see if I can get it to work, just for the sake of quick and dirty fix, and mess with it later. So in Oasis Live, in our inventory, in our instances, it's kind of a weird place to put them, but I just remember to put them. So plant seedling, seed dye, and I'm just going to put the scale this to 1 factor here. And also I want to make sure that the animation that's playing is a different animation than walk in place. So if there isn't one, I don't know if there is one. No, it looks like there is one. So then here I can go this instead, and that should fix the, it's not going to, we have to do one more thing here. I'm going to do it in a second. So that should fix the scale factor, should fix the animation that comes up on the new one. And then we just have to delete this original one. And I'm not sure if that 1 by 1 by 1 is the right scale. I'm not going to write it down until I know it is. Okay. So you can also see now it's on the dead one already. So what's going on here? Plant monster. Yeah. Okay. So it's because this one got changed. This one's dead. And then in the that's why it's tricky. One stupid little thing takes so much effort. Alright, and seedling, and then in this one, it should be dye. Okay, so I'm hoping, it might be because those are both Let's just try it again. I don't know why that was doing that. So now it's walking again, which is good. And we can tweak like where the nav mesh is. These all use nav mesh, which is good. They're using like the level. So now if I click on him, I'm hoping he's smaller. I don't like how this thing's going on now. Okay. Alright, so he's definitely smaller. And if I just pause this for a second, you can check it out. So you can see that it does die a little bit too high, so I gotta bring it down. But it does look like the scale matches one by one by one, which is awesome. So I'm gonna keep that as is. And I have to do this for all three of these. Then hopefully I can just copy them over though and reuse them. Okay, so this is where I want the position to be. What we need to do is we need to add a just drag this in here, find it. Okay, it's in the rocks here. The problem here is that this thing needs to be, where is it? Where is it? Can I bring it down a little bit? Yeah, see, unfortunately that's the problem, is that this needs a parent. And then, so if I unpack this, and then I go create empty, and I'm gonna go seedling die here, I can bring this down a little bit, like that, and I can say plant seedling die. Okay, and then there is another thing we have to do here, which I want to do while I have this out. And that is, I'm going to steal it from like one of these ones here. So in the dead version, there is a playmaker on it, right? So then we can copy this, and I'll just paste that here. Is it on the top? It's on the top level. And then I can delete this again. We don't need that. We're just borrowing that. Come on. I forget you have to do that. Okay, and then this one, we're finding the object that we need. So this is where we have to do a little digging here. So we're looking for the, because this doesn't have an enchant, we only need one of them, which is good. So we can get rid of this. But we want to make sure that we store, let's say, a new variable. I'm going to call this one plant seedling. You'll understand what I'm doing in a second. So that, and then I can change this to plant seedling here. We're just removing the skin mesh render of whatever this object we have to find is. So then in this one here, it's called plant monster. We have to put this in, and then it will delete the skin mesh renderer. And that's just something we have to do. So I know that plant monster, which I don't know if that's the right name, if that's going to delete something else. It's just searching for this in the game. But I know that, oh, it has to make sure it also has a tag. That's true. Does it have a tag? No, it does not. So we're going to make sure that is NPC tag. And that's just going to make sure that it pulls the right one. Okay? Store that plant seedling and then destroy that component that's on there. So then this should be good. And we should be able to bring this now into the plant seedling and drag it in there. And it becomes the new, this we don't need anymore. And I can just, what's this? What'd I do? I screwed it up, huh? Oh, whatever. I'll figure it out. And in this missing game object, we'll put the new one. And this is also the new one. I mean, I could just redrag in the prefab, but let's just test this before we start doing that. Because what would be nice if we can just take the prefab version that's working, this one, and then just drag it in over and over and over. Like put another one right here. Because you see it's actually not, it's offset. So I really want to make this the prefab here when I'm ready. This is just a backup one. Because this one's also scaled the right size. And let's see if it works. Okay, so we come in. I hope I set up right. Alright, we're missing the plant seedling guy. What's going on? Why is that doing? Oh, that's because that wasn't a mistake. There's not something wrong. It's because I didn't delete this out of the scene, and it was running that FSM I had set up. So it had deleted the renderer of that guy prior to me clicking on it. So now it should work. There he is, walking around. So I'm hoping that all right, it looks like we got it working, which is awesome. Yeah, so that worked really good. So it took a little bit there to get it functioning. I had to scale it down, I had to make a parent, I had to do some component stuff. But because I did that, now I think I can hopefully bring that in and it works in multiple places. But I can tell you the challenge is that if you have more than one of the same object, the way the variable's searching, it's not really working the best way it could, because it's going to pull everything. You'll see in a second what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to do it. Remember, this is the issue we have here. So make a new prefab, and this one should keep everything it needs. And so I'll just drag another one in. I don't know why it's deciding to be bigger though. Like, I don't know why it doesn't follow the scale factor that I told it to be at. So this is at that. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. But obviously a way to do it is just copy this one, and then it keeps the same size. Okay, so maybe we'll put a plant monster down here too, just to make it fun. Yay. Alright, plant monster, plant seedling. Okay. And the key with this is you just gotta make sure that this guy, oh, there's not even any nav mesh on this one. Okay, so we'll bake that. We'll bake a new nav mesh on this right here. Hopefully that works. I don't know if I'm on the right one though. Walkable ground. Yeah, alright. Huh. I don't know why that's not baking for me. I'm not sure why that's not showing up there. Is this... Alright, so I think it has to do with the fact that so many trials and errors. I think I know what's going on here, and just took me so long to figure out. So it's because it's on a static table, I think. So if I go here and look at this one, that's static, right? And then so this one isn't static. So now when I bake it, it should bake it. Let's see. See if it works. Yep, that was it. Ooh. Okay. So we needed that because in order for this thing to negotiate the terrain, it has to know where it can go. And it had not had to worry about that up in the other one because it had it already. And I'm not sure if it makes a separate build mesh or if it just adds to the existing file, like if there's two separate things, or if it just one file and it just calculates where this stuff is. I'd have to figure that out. I do know that it does make a folder for nav mesh in the area you save this. So if I were to go to live right here, and then in this one, this is the nav mesh data, and and also has occlusion culling data here. It looks like it saves it under the same file. And yeah, it just seems like it just saves it the value of what it is, even though they're not connected. So now I want to test out having two of these things here, what happens to them, because I'm pretty sure it's going to delete. You have to separate the names of these, and you have to make separate prefabs if you have more than one in the scene based off of the way the variable is working. And I have to make it only go off the local one, not the globally accessed ones. I think that's why it's doing that. So, okay, so this is walking, which is good. Alright. So, come up here. Let's go back to the first one and see if we can see what happens. This is the copy. Oh, but I can't get across now. Shit. Alright, we'll just go to the second one. Alright, so let's see what happens. Yeah, so you see, because so it deleted the wrong one. So you can only have one in at a time, and that's just the way it's searching for the names. So I can fix that by naming the mesh object that is disabling differently. And so what I would do there is I would just go, which I'm not going to do for now, I'm just going to go ahead and just delete the second one I created, and then focus on these other two, and then maybe I'll come in and do this later. But essentially, you just have to rename this one, and then this one, two different names, and then the playmaker actions have to reference this specific name, not the generic one. And that's why it doesn't know when it searches. It knows there's two of these. It doesn't know which one to delete. I think it just takes the top one, which is why it went for that one, and it was this one that you wanted. So that's the issue with that, is that when you copy and paste them like that, it doesn't necessarily work. So, oops, I want to go... let's just see what happens if I delete... no, what am I doing here? Delete that, and then... Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this stream for now, and I'll come back in a little bit. So it should now be able to go up to these guys, and it should still work now, and it does. Perfect. Works really good now. And I can select that. Alright, perfect. Deletes it. That's exactly what we want. Okay. So that's setting up a trigger and also fixing the NPCs so they work.